Ah, Shadow. What did you find out? The guard rotation remains the same as it has for the last year, then. Nigel Bertram is a cocky bastard. And neglectful. And stupid as well. No, I'm not being too harsh. Look at the people in this village. He's had direct responsibility for them for nearly 40 years. During that time, a once bustling trading town has become a tired, derelict village. The people were once healthy and hopeful. Now they battle illness and poverty. I'm quite convinced that if it weren't for the Daffodil Trading Post and the family that runs it, this entire village would be abandoned. Of course, things have gotten worse in the last 2 years, since the Duke has been spending more and more time in Saphira City. Go figure, he shirks his duty in his own territory and gets a position on the council as a reward for failing his people. No, King Edmund didn't grant it to him. It was the previous king, Edmund's father, who took a liking to Bertram back in the day. No one really knows why. Bertram was magically gifted, but not exceptionally so. As a strategist, he was acceptable at best, and as a leader, well, his tactics have never really changed over the years. He was devious and bold, but from what I've heard, it wasn't enough to warrant a coveted seat on the council. The old king and Bertram, they just got on well, I suppose. I know all this because Arlo told me about it as I was growing up. In classrooms he taught the facts, but later I would pick his brain for his opinions. And he has written to me periodically. He keeps me in the loop about the political climate as well as potentially lucrative jobs in the territories. Oh, he doesn't approve of my trade, per se. But Arlo maintains a careful web of connections, and if he can hinder a negative influence where one of his former students reaps a reward, he's going to orchestrate it. Speaking of orchestrating, let's go over the plan. At midnight, we're going to enter his estate through the eastern border. A portion of the outer wall is damaged there, making it fairly easy to climb through. We'll do that during the guard rotation and sprint towards the house. There are 2 locations we'll need to visit. One is his lab on the first floor. The second is the Duke's private library, a room attached to his personal suite. While he won't be in there, the entrance to it is in full view of the main atrium of the house, and there's no decent way to climb up the side of the manor that way. It will prove a bit tricky to get in without being seen by the staff, but it can be done if we sneak carefully. We'll start with the lab. We'll find the magical artifact there, then we'll head upstairs and collect the rest of the objectives in his suite. I have reason to believe the book is in a locked case in the library. If anything goes awry, we split up, leave the estate separately, and meet up again behind the trading post. Yes, the servant I told you about is still here, though I'm not going to involve her. I never do, you know, when I actually go to complete a job. There's no sense in her or any other contact getting hurt or in hot water when I already have what I need. Trust me, it's better this way. One thing I've learned over the years is that a healthy contact is one you can use again. I've ordered us some dinner. Let's enjoy a meal before we wait in the woods for our chance to strike. Right on time. You know, for as incompetent as Bertram is, he's lucky his guards behave well. He pays them next to nothing. Though, I suppose he could have blackmail on all of them. That sounds like something he would do. The slimy creature. When they go around that corner, we run for the window. 3, 2, 1. Run. No, this window doesn't have a lock. In a lab like this one, where one may be making potions, the windows are never locked. In case of emergency, you know. Noxious gas, flame, and magical effects can prove very deadly without proper ventilation. That's why mages are so easy to steal from. There, in you go. All right. The artifact we're looking for is a spell focus. Very old, well-loved, should be glowing purple, and it gives off a sort of warmth, like a pull to your magic. There's a trunk full of glowing things in the corner. Start there, and don't touch anything without your gloves on. Don't look at me like that. It's basic lab safety. Ah. No, it's not the spell focus. However, it is a bracelet belonging to the late Queen Eleanor, King Edmund's mother. One of the many pieces of wealth that was listed missing. No, it's not magical, but it is valuable. And the sapphires set within can be pried out and used for powerful magic. That's likely why it's here. And why it's missing a few stones. The bastard. Destroying a piece like this is an atrocity. Oh, yes, that's it. Well done, Shadow. Into the bag it goes. Let's go. Follow my lead. Around the corner there's a window with large curtains. Duck behind it and wait. A servant will be passing soon. Trust me, I just heard the kitchen door. They're headed this way. Do as I say. Shh. I told you. Up the stairs. Check the door. You keep watch, I'll pick the lock. Are we clear? Good, get in. What a beautifully furnished room. Are those cushions made of silk? Right, library. It's just through there. But first, check that box on top of the chest of drawers. As I thought. The signet rings and that mask may all go in the bag. They're property of the crown. Oh, don't mind me. Just looking under the bed for... Ah, here we go. You see how this box is covered in dust? That means no one looks at it. Which means, as long as I am careful not to brush away the dust on top, no one will miss a little trinket taken from it. At least not any time soon. To be clear, I usually don't reward myself with such baubles, but this man is a particularly evil one, and I very much enjoy lovely jewellery. Look at this. This emerald is the size of my fingernail. This'll do nicely. And for you, Shadow, what will be your prize? No, even if he were to notice it was missing, it would be long after he had noticed the absence of the book and the artifact, which he would know is the work of a political machine rather than a wayward servant. Furthermore, in order to report all of his items missing, he would have to confess that he had possession of items known to be stolen from the crown. No, this crime will go unreported. So again I ask, what would you like as a memento of this occasion? You have excellent taste. Remind me to take you to market during the trade festival. I'd like your opinion on a few things. All right, time to collect the book. This case has 2 locks on it. Shall we work together? One day I'll have a library like this one, with a plush couch before a massive bay window, thick rugs on the floor, and a fireplace for the winter, and every wall covered in shelves of books. Books of history, poetry, fiction, all of it. Why don't I steal books instead? Where would I put them, Shadow? Unfortunately, until I retire, I really have no place to call my own. The few tavern rooms that I let really don't have the space for such things. Jewellery is not my first choice solely for its beauty. It's because it's easily portable and quickly sold. One day, though, Shadow. One day. Here we are. This can't be right. This is just a cheap tome. A simple register of the royal family over the last 600 years. Why would this be under lock and key? You can buy this anywhere. No magical aura either. Why would Arlo want this? No, it's not a decoy. It was exactly as Arlo said it'd be, even to the damage on this corner of the cover. Spilled tea, probably. I can ask questions later. Shut the case and let's go. Shit. Hide.
Miri? Is that you?
Stand down, Shadow. It's all right. Martha, you look lovely as ever.
You can warn me you would be breaking in.
You know I would never implicate you. It goes against everything I stand for, especially given what a dangerous man Bertram is.
Dangerous, perhaps, but overly confident. What are you looking for? Perhaps I can help.
I've already collected what I've come for. I'm on my way out, and I refuse to let you be seen aiding me.
That book? What do you want with it?
I was hired to take it. I don't want it for myself. Someone who has the kingdom's best interest at heart wants it back.
I'm coming with you.
Calm down, Shadow. I'll handle this. She's trustworthy. Martha, you can't come with me. You'll be in danger and...
Who hired you to collect that book? Was it the headmaster of the Mage's Academy?
How did you know?
You're not the only ones trying to undermine the Duke. A sorceress came through here like a week ago during the Harvest Ball. Maybe reach out to me see if I could help her. She and her companion took some item from his laboratory with the intent to prove his guilt for some horrible things he did. Something related to the princess. The sorceress was heavily glamoured, to be sure, but that tells me that she knows the Duke personally. That can only mean that she is either part of the Mage's Academy or the Royal Council. And given that he's bragged about taking that old dusty book from Headmaster Arlo, I suspect this is related to him.
A sorceress? You helped her?
Of course I did. You know I have reason to put the Duke before justice.
I know you do, but what will he do to you if he finds out? Surely he must suspect something at this point.
He left immediately after the festivities and hasn't returned since. I don't worry for myself, just for the people of this village.
Why are you in such a hurry to jump into the flames? Stay here for now where it's safe.
Because I suspect that whatever he is up to, it will be coming to an end soon. And when it all blows up in his face, I want to be in Sapphire City, to advocate for my people here. That is where I'm going, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You should be a politician, Martha. You're a bit cutthroat, very decisive, and extremely persuasive.
I would never want to be in a public eye. Like you, I prefer to operate from the shadows.
What a shame to keep your lovely face hidden in the dark. As you wish. Let us away from this place. I need to pick something up from Mabel on our way out of town. Oh, nothing, Shadow. Just a little parcel. It won't take long.
It's smart, isn't it?
Yes, it's smart.
Mabel always has the best supply.
Let's get out of here.
You actually pulled it off. And so quickly, too.
You doubted me.
No, never. But your skills constantly impress me. If you ever wanted to return to the academy, finish your training.
Arlo, we've been through this.
I know. I'm just saying.
This magical artifact I understand you asking for. It's a very nice spell focus after all. I see why you wanted it back. Even the few bits and bobs that belong to the crown make sense for us to steal. But neither of those things require an expert. Not even at the Duke's estate. And this book, I thought it would be something enchanted. Or maybe a grimoire of some kind. But this is just an average tome. Are you going to tell us what is so important about it that it warranted hiring me over someone else?
It's not like you to ask questions about jobs after you've been paid, Miri.
And it's not like you to hire me directly for your own job. Something is changing, Arlo. I can feel it. Call it professional curiosity.
Very well. This tome is a record of the family tree of King Edmund. It includes charts, notations, and biographies covering the royals and related nobility for the last 600 years.
You can get such a thing at any second-hand shop in the market. I've seen this exact publication multiple times before, even as far south as Zeteron.
Not this copy.
Do you mean to kill us with suspense?
Forgive me. Diversion is a rare thing these days. Well, the book's previous owner was once a classmate of mine, and a dear friend. Maria Ashby, the former court healer during the reign of King Harold. She retired when Edmund took the throne, but before she passed on, she gave it to me. I was furious when I found out that Duke Bertram had hired someone to steal it from my quarters.
So you needed someone you could trust because of sentimental value?
Only in part. You'll notice that she had her own notes in the margins, and my notes are there as well. Notes that you wouldn't find in any other copy.
Why do I sense you're about to spill some very deep secrets? Perhaps we could order some tea and get comfortable before you continue.
I knew you wouldn't be able to resist.
Are you sure you want to share this information with us?
Believe it or not, the future of the kingdom may depend on someone else knowing. No, I'm not worried about you, even if I don't know you well. Miri has always had an excellent read on people. If she's chosen you as a companion, then I trust that choice, implicitly.
Be honest with me. Are you in danger, Arlo?
No, at least not yet. But you speak true when you say that something is changing. The last time I had a chance to share this, the proof was taken from me, and the kingdom is thrown into chaos. It's best if someone I trust also holds this information. Please, sit down.
All right. Settle in, Shadow. Welcome to the inner circle of Sephiran politics. We're never just thieves, after all.